From downtown, this is Tim Kitzer from NBA Jam, and you're listening to NintenDomain Podcast. Boom shakalaka!
This week in NintenDomain, we're working through our Game of the Year stuff and got some more codes from Untold Tales.
99 down, and I've only yelled like 30 times.
AI almost had me in tears.
Well, not tears, just anger. Welcome to the NintenDomain Podcast, episode 450. Whoa, that's a number.
It is. That's
serious.
The highest temperature you really ever cook things.
We cook stuff at 450 a lot. We did.
I'm saying it's like the highest
the other day. I don't. Yeah,
we cook all the time on this show.
I don't think we. I don't think we cook higher than that either. It's rare. It's very rare to go above 450. We just had it at 450. I don't remember why the other day. I mean, we cook a lot.
You're probably making garlic bread.
No.
No, that's when I have it up the highest.
We don't have any garlic bread. I think we were making quiche. It might have been when we made quiches the other day. I don't know. I just remember looking at the oven being like, oh yeah.
I make quiche at 375.
Well, it depends on the quiche that you make.
Pretty much any quiche.
There's different. Maybe it wasn't quiche. I don't know. There was something we had in 450 recently.
It's probably.
I mean, I would cook my shrimp tempura around that temperature. The good one from Jewel that I liked was at 450.
Dang.
But yeah, we're your hosts. I'm Trey, Falcom Heaven Johnson.
I'm Jeremy, gaming like it's my job, Mikowski.
I'm John, insert coin knitter.
That could be bad.
It just makes me think of that Pac-Man remix song that I think was on it was on OC Remix or something. It's just like insert coin. Insert coin. But yeah, welcome to NintenDomain Podcast, episode 450. Your place to hear Nintendo fans talk about Nintendo things. Let's start the show as we normally do and talk about games we got and games we've been playing. Why don't you start us off, John?
Sure. Well, I watched the Insert Coin documentary, finally, when it came out like 2 or 3 years ago.
Never heard of it.
We talked about it on the show briefly.
Oh, I missed it.
So I always just thought it was like a general documentary on arcades and like maybe the resurgence of arcades recently, whatever. I knew that Doc Mack was in it, so I thought that was kind of the long and short of it. But come to find out, it's actually specifically about the rise and fall of Midway, which makes it infinitely more interesting.
Oh, do they talk about Mortal Kombat then?
They do, yeah.
Makes me somewhat intrigued, of course. I mean, you can't talk about Midway without Mortal Kombat, obviously.
That's a major part of it, yeah.
I mean, did they talk about the GameCube Mortal Kombats? I mean, that was like the last ones that Midway did. The GameCube, PS2, Xbox ones.
They pretty squarely focused on the arcade games and stuff. It's that kind of arcade spirit. Yeah, it's free on YouTube. So I came across it. I just came home from work, and usually I'll just sit and watch YouTube for half an hour or so. Well, I ended up sitting and watching the whole movie because I thought it was really good and well worth watching. So. A couple of things. Like I learned that it was Bally and Williams and Midway, and they all became one company and all that. I didn't realize until this movie that Bally is the same Bally that ran the health clubs in the 80s and 90s.
Oh, Bally Fitness.
Yeah, that's the same company. Like, I didn't know that was like.
I didn't know that either.
The fitness thing was an offshoot. And yeah, I was a member of Bally Fitness.
I thought they were just all about fitness game on a cartridge.
I mean, they're all about fitting money in their wallets, whatever way they could, I guess. But when
a lot of people
thought about it, it does kind of seem like an extension of the like basic business model of an arcade. Like you go to a gym and what do? You operate machines. It's a large space for lots of people come to operate machines.
Thankfully, you don't have to put coins in.
Trying to get better and better. Yeah.
Right.
Thankfully, you don't have to put coins in though to lift weights. That would be annoying
You can buy
That would be
snacks.
annoying.
because you're already paying. You're already
There's a
paying to
shower.
go there. And you got to put coins in to use the shower or the sauna or whatever. That would be annoying.
So maybe this is why Doc Mac has a gym on his compound.
He's
What's
trying
the
to
valley?
be the next Valley. Yeah.
But his are free play, like the arcade. It's like most gyms. You just pay to get in, and then you don't have to pay for the machines. That's the right way to do it.
Yeah, the movie was worth watching. So it's free on YouTube for anybody who's interested. Especially interesting to Chicago gamers because it's about Midway. And then referring back to my quote at the beginning. So AI almost ruined the end of Tears of the Kingdom for me. I'm still knee deep in Tears, and I'm trying to squeeze every last bit of juice that I can out of it. So I was looking up a prize for what you get for a certain challenge because I just couldn't remember if I beat the challenge or not.
Oh, that was your way of checking, like cross-referencing.
Yeah, so I was just trying to figure out. Well, I searched. My search was Tears of the Kingdom minecart arrow win prize. I wanted to know what the prize was, and that could confirm it if I had it in my inventory. Okay, I got that already. Cool.
And it's like the final prize is here's the ending.
That's exactly what it did. You know
Yeah.
how Google has the summary now, the AI summary.
Oh yeah, I hate
every
it
search?
so much.
It said thank goodness I only read the first few words, then I caught myself. But it said, when you win the final battle in Tears of the Kingdom. I was like, back. Nope.
You just throw your phone across the room. You're like, ah.
Yeah, no.
Just toss it. Just break it. Just be like,
Yeah,
get out
so
of here.
stupid. No, I was not searching for the final battle. The final results or whatever. This is just frustrating. Another way that AI can ruin our lives, just spoil video games for us.
Yeah, aside from stealing people's jobs.
Mm.
And
Yeah, that was it for me.
And it's just awful art everywhere. So tired of it. I mean, I guess it's not as much, but it's still why would you post that? It's not cool. It's I don't care. I mean,
I've started to see people sharing stuff on Facebook and stuff that's obviously AI images.
Oh, they've been doing it for a long time, but it's
and I'm seeing people I know doing it.
Why? Who cares? It's those stupid fucking.
Well, they don't know it's AI, is what I mean.
Yeah.
It's tricking them.
It's those really stupid graphics that are supposed to be your face or whatever. I was like, these are dumb. Why would people use these? I hate those things so much.
The avatars.
Yeah, they're so dumb. They don't look nothing like you. They all look the same.
Mm-hmm.
They really do. It's I didn't never understood the appeal of them. But yeah, I don't get the appeal of AI art either. But it's what it's where we are. We have to see that shit.
Well, kind of on the game documentary topic, I actually watched one this week too.
Oh,
I watched the one about Vampire Survivors.
Oh, another one.
It's really good.
Is that on YouTube too?
I learned a lot about the guy, the Italian guy. He was explaining about what all the different puns mean, because they don't all translate, but nothing's that deep. So everything's kind of got a pun name to it. Like the Santa water was an intentional pun. But the story is so cool. It's just it's about he couldn't speak English very well, but he knew he'd have to learn English if he was going to do game development. So he moved to London, and he couldn't communicate that well. So he got a job at McDonald's, and he says he worked there for 2 years, and that's how he improved his English skills and was able to do a little bit of his own programming on the side. But yeah, it's a really fascinating story about someone actually getting to follow their dreams eventually and the struggles along the way. And
yeah.
I watched, or I listened to a podcast about Balatro too, which is how you're supposed to say Balatro.
Are you really? There's
yes.
Nobody's ever said that. Who
That's
said
how the
it?
creator says it.
Like Darius or whatever.
Balatro. Yep. It's a Canadian guy, if that helps.
Okay, whatever.
But both of those people have stayed anonymous, so that's pretty cool. They don't want people to know who they are for the most part. They've got these huge successes, and they kind of want to stay out of the limelight, which I like. I think that's cool. But yeah, anyways, those I can't remember what they're called. The company that did the Vampire Survivors documentary, they're a crowdsource.
No Clip.
Yeah, No Clip. That's it. Yep. Yeah, I watched a bunch of No Clip stuff this week.
Yeah, I think I did watch that
Good.
Vampire Survivors one. I think I talked about it on the show a while ago.
You watched something about it around the time of when
Yeah,
it came
I
to
did.
Switch. I remember that.
That's fascinating. I recommend it if you want to hear, like, obviously that game's very simple, but when you start hearing about all the things that are in it and everything, you start to realize that it's fairly complicated.
Super flashy, also. Well, I mean, do you want to continue on with your stuff then, since you're already talking, Jeremy?
Sure, yeah. So I played a lot of stuff this week. I've been kind of playing catch up.
You beat some things.
Yeah,
Or you beat
starting
one
off
thing.
with, I beat Pentiment. Finished that. It's not a very long game, but
Yeah, that was kind of quick. I don't know how long you played it for, but
it's a short game.
But it was like a day or two after you recorded last week, so I thought it was not that long.
So I probably would have beaten it a lot quicker if I had realized that I could look at a map and see where I was going, and I didn't figure that out until like halfway through the game. So yeah, that's kind of on me. But I mean, like I said, it's a lot of reading. I think I said that last week, so
Yeah,
you got to be into that. But
lots of fonts.
it was starting to get really, really good at the end. Like I was having like kind of having like a debate with someone about the Eucharist and whether or not what is it, transubstantiation, when the communion turns into blood and Christ like actual body.
As they say. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, this is like bringing back so many memories of studying this stuff in college. And yeah, I don't know, it's just really interesting. Like, I don't know, like when I beat the game, I just felt really the ending is just chilling. I don't know how I don't really know how I could say it without giving anything away, other than just a lot of people die in this game, and I don't know how much I affected it, but even after the game's over, you get to like see some murals that show you how other people die and stuff, and it's not all good. But it is the Middle Ages, so people die pretty early, I guess. But there's some people that get burned at the stake and stuff. That was one of the things that blew my mind, and I don't know if it's because of a conversation I had with them or not, but
Who you knew and loved?
yeah, people I liked. And then the person I was having the debate with was one of them. But the end of the game, the last act is about, instead of trying to solve a murder, you're trying to just talk to everyone in the town about the history of the town. And at this point, like 30 years have gone by in the game. And so they're just kind of recounting stuff from their perspectives and all that. And you have to go talk to everyone, and you're wanting to make this mural that accurately depicts the history of the town. So that's kind of the last act, and the very last thing in the game is it shows you finally get to see the mural. And while it shows it, it's there's this artist, Lingua Ignota. I've been listening to her for a little bit. I think she might have actually retired that name and just go by her actual name, which is Kristen Hayter. But I just realized that's almost a pun. But her music's really spiritual and more of a like exploratory way and less like a preachy way, if that makes any sense. Like she's just really, really, I don't know, really vibes with that like echoey church music. I don't know what you call it. Like
Gospel.
but she's got this amazing voice. Well, it's not like gospel. It's like really haunting. I would say almost operatic, but
Choir.
anyway, whatever. I was trying to say like the last song in the game is her singing, performing her song while it's showing you the mural. I was like, oh, that's cool. I know this artist. Just, I don't know. Just, I would liken this game more so being like a book than a game. So it just had a lot more power than a lot of games would because of all the subtext through the story. And I don't know how else to describe it other than it's just a good ass game. I recommend it to anyone who likes to read. Once again, if you like to read, you like this game. If you don't like to read, you won't like this game.
Since there's a lot of reading, is it kind of like it's as good as what you put into it, or like how much you, I don't know,
How much you care about
how much
it, I
you
guess.
imagine you imagine what you're.
But I
reading,
still think it
whatever.
does a pretty good job of, like, because you get to visit, you're in the town in different periods of time. So you get to see things in different states of, being built, or maybe they've burned down or been replaced or, expanded upon. So that's kind of cool too, just kind of seeing the town evolve and all the people grow up, all the kids are growing up. The last act, they're all adults, or the ones that are still alive, that is. A lot of people die in this game. So anyway, Pentiment, great game. Another thing I played a lot this week was Monkey Ball, because I was going to try to finish it. Have you seen credits in this, Trey?
I have. I've seen the first credits. There's 2 credits.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm on level 99.
There's like 100 levels, and then you beat it, and then there's like 100 more levels. So
in that case, then I'm almost done with the 100th level.
So it keeps going. Yes. So you probably so you might be at the first credits, But then it keeps going after that, and it gets harder and harder. And I think I got like almost halfway through the second set of levels, but they just released more on top of that. So
Yeah, and they made like harder challenges within the levels.
yeah, I heard, but I haven't played it since the latest update. But yeah, that was the last time I played it. Last time I played it was at the game party at the hotel.
Oh,
That was
yeah,
the last
yeah.
time I played it. But I got I thought I got fairly far into the hard stuff, but I get distracted by other stuff. But I really enjoyed it, for as long as I did.
Yeah, I really like this one. I have to play it when I'm by myself because I do kind of yell at the screen a little bit.
Do you still like stomp the floor when you?
I
when
don't
you
stomp
can't,
because I don't want to scare the cats.
back in the day, back in the GameCube day, I remember you would.
But I do yell at the TV a lot. And,
you grunt like a monkey and stomp the floor sometimes. I mean, yeah,
so I find I just
things.
need to kind of be in my own zone when I play that game. No distractions, and you just when you get into that zone, it feels so good. Like you're just like, I don't know. I've played some of those levels where I'm just like, there's no way I'm going to beat this, and then when you do beat it, it's just very satisfying because
There's some really, really cool levels in there.
some really crazy stuff going on. And some of those levels, there's so much motion. Sometimes it just takes me a while just to like settle my brain down to be able to see what's happening.
Yeah, and I don't know if you noticed, but all the monkeys control differently, and their boosts are different.
I've only played with
depending on
II.
depending on who you're using. I use Gon, but everybody controls completely differently. They all have their own their own stats and whatnot. So if you're trying to like get it with one person, and some of them I was like, I have no fucking idea how to get through this, and I would watch like a video of it, and somebody would do it with a different monkey, but how they did it, I was not able to do it because I was not using that monkey, because they all, like I said, they all control differently, and the way they boost is different too. So some of them might be able to boost farther than others, or higher, or so you might not be able to make certain jumps at different places. So there's a lot of depth to it, which is really, really cool. But I was surprised that I didn't realize. I just thought it was ported to other systems, but I didn't realize it was a Switch exclusive. They mentioned
I didn't either.
They mentioned IGN, and I was like, that's not true. And I was like,
That's
I don't believe that. And then I looked it up, and I was like, oh, it is weird, because they didn't really. I don't feel like they really advertised that at all. Like that it was only on Switch. It was kind of like, here's the newest Monkey Ball, and I just thought it was on everything, and I thought everybody was just talking it up just as a game. But then I looked around, and it was never released on anything else, and I was like, oh wow. So yeah, Switch exclusive there. We still get them.
now, yeah.
Still get them occasionally. But yeah,
So I turned on motion controls. Don't do that.
Oh yeah, no, I would say.
I thought
not
maybe
to
it would
do
help,
that.
but it made it a lot harder because, and it does. There's a lot of accessibility stuff, so I think you could probably maybe fine tune those to where they would work. But I was just, I don't know. I felt like I had a lot less control over stopping with the motion controls.
I mean, have you got to where like you're on one level and you're like, oh, I hate this level, and then you try just boosting, and then you somehow make it through the goal without doing the level?
Yes.
Have you done any of those yet?
I've done that a couple
I
times.
did that a few times where I'm like, fuck this level, and I just try boosting, and it actually works. Like you can do crazy shortcuts, like if you try them, like, and it's like, oh whoa, I didn't expect that, or you'll jump and then bounce on another thing and on another thing, and then somehow you make it through the goal, and you're like, what? Okay. So yeah, that was always fun, where you get pissed at one thing and then you try just boosting through it, and it works. It's like, fuck.
I really like the levels that are, a puzzle that you got to figure out, and the time limit can be stressful in those situations. But there was one level that I didn't think was that cool. It's called Manhole, and it's like
Oh yeah, I hated that one. The one
I couldn't
where
figure out what the fuck to do for so long.
you got to push the manhole, but yeah, I looked it up because I was so frustrated.
It's the only level where you have to do anything like that. It's so stupid.
That was one of the
was
few
left
ones
there.
that I looked up just because I was frustrated with it. But yeah, you don't do that in any other level. Like you don't have to push a piece of the level, but in
And
the
it's
manhole
like
one, you
really
do.
awkward how it works too. It doesn't
Yeah.
seem natural. It's just like a fan made level or something. I don't know. But every other level's been great. Like I don't have
I
really have
don't
any
like that
complaints.
level either.
There's a couple levels that I really got stuck on for a long time.
There's some really, really cool ones. Like there was there's that one that I was showing you guys at the hotel. The one that has like all the spinning circles, and you have to like go up and then go down on the. Did you get to that one? Like that one was really cool. It's like
I'm on level 99.
It's
so
like
likely.
it's like a tube, and there's a whole bunch of spinning circles, like,
Mm-hmm.
and they're all kind of different sizes, but you have to like kind of you kind of have to go on it to where they're all on the same level, and you kind of like walk across them. But then at the very end, it's really hard because you have to go up, and then you have to like come down through the goal because the goal is like moving on the circle, and you have to go like up the circle and then wait for the circle to come around and catch you. Like the very end of it is really difficult. Yeah, but I just thought that one was so cool, just how everything rotated, and if you like turn and move the camera, you can see like where the straight pathway, and you can walk across a bunch of them, but they all move differently, so you have to kind of do it in a rhythm or whatever. It was really neat. Like I like that one a lot. And there was like other ones, like there was one with I remember there was one where you had to keep like going up and up and up, but you'll never reach the top, like a Despacito song or something. But yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff on there. I'm glad you're enjoying it. It's a good game.
Yeah, it's a great game. Prince of Persia, played more of that this week. I was not able to get by this one boss, and then I walked another direction and realized, hey, I can go somewhere else. And I opened up some what are they called, the trees.
Did you get the one? Points. Is it the one with the wings? Did you find that one? Whatever the first.
I found the one that talks to me. Is that what you mean?
Well, we talked about it last week. I was like the one I thought was like the first hard boss. It kind of looks like something out of Revelation because it has a bunch of parts of animals like stuck together.
I don't think I fought that boss.
It's called like, I don't know. I looked it up last. It has a stupid name, but it looks like a lion with bat wings, and it's like, and it's basically you have to learn how to dodge and parry and all that. Otherwise, you can't get through it. And it felt like
maybe I did beat that.
It felt like the checkpoint in the game, like where it's like, all right, well, you need to learn how to do this shit because you won't be able to get past this guy if you don't. So I felt like that was like the first time where I was like, oh, this game's hard. And that was the most memorable boss I remember fighting.
I think the most recent ability I got was the arrows, and I really like the puzzles they do with the arrows. Like
I'm pretty sure
you're shooting switches while you're in the air. Yeah, they just really use all the different items really well.
Jahandar, that's what he's called.
Okay, and then there's all the the puzzles are cool, but what I really like is how they blend the platforming into the puzzling, and you're bouncing off walls and all that fun stuff and sliding and just doing all the cool acrobatics while you're doing things in the right order, or there's certain things you have to do with timing and cool stuff. Hard combat. Like the combat is starting to click for me, but I'm better at just all out dodging than parrying. Parrying is a little harder to do.
Game's on sale for $15 this week too.
Yeah, it's worth it.
There's only one of us who doesn't have it here on this show.
Who's that?
You. Yeah, that's for you, or for anybody who's listening to this who doesn't have Prince of Persia. But yeah, no, it's very cheap. I mean, it was around that it was around that digital, but it's like through Amazon or Best Buy or something like that. It's where the $15 sale is.
The closest I can compare it to would be like Metroid Dread, even though it's not at all like Metroid Dread, but like sort of like graphically and kind of the like really good graphics, but it's a 2D game. Like, it's actually a 3D game running in a 2D engine, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, it is a Metroidvania, so it's got that going for it.
Let's see. I finally started Chrono Cross. I played past the first mission where you have to get the Komodo dragon scales, and then the weird thing happens where everyone thinks you died 10 years ago.
Did you say no to the girl at the beginning?
I did. I kept saying no over and over again. I'm afraid I might have said no too many times.
I remember. I think that was what. I think that was what ended that game for me. Where I was playing through it for a while, and I was like, wait, I was supposed to do what at the beginning? Fuck this game.
I mean, it's just for a different character or whatever. I don't know the exact.
It's like I don't want to say no to that to her. I thought she was cool, but whatever.
That's the only way you can play with Lena, I think is her name, which is your girlfriend at the beginning or whatever, your love interest. Yeah, I've got her in my party, so I guess that's what I did. The music's great. Navigating in those pre-rendered environments not as fun as I remembered. It can be kind of hard to figure out what the hell's going on sometimes with that Final Fantasy VII looking, pre-rendered 3-dimensional stuff you're running around in.
So static backgrounds and 3D characters?
Correct.
Yeah. Like Resident Evil.
More than once I've literally gotten trapped somewhere because an enemy was in my way and I could it wouldn't let me fight it. In that first level, for some reasons, once you beat certain enemies, it wouldn't let me fight them anymore. They would just be in my way, and I had to wait like almost a whole minute for this guy to move once, so I could like keep playing. So it's not a great game, but I might play it a little more just because
I mean, you have it.
I like the music. Yeah, and I have it.
Music's good.
I played a lot of Plucky Squire because I'm really wanting to give it.
Did you
a
update
chance.
it? They added an update to it. Did you see that?
I saw there was an update, but I haven't like.
I wonder if you have to restart the game because they updated. It's called like Streamline mode, which was not what I thought Streamline meant. But it basically what it does is it takes away all the shit, where it like talks your ear off and tells you what to do. Like it basically gets rid of a lot of that stuff that people complained about, like how it's overly talky and there's not really a whole lot of puzzles to it. It's like you can basically select it. You can get it to not do any of that stuff and let you actually try to do some of the puzzles instead of them constantly telling you how to do them. So
you want to avoid
maybe
talking to the little wizards.
bit.
There's little wizards standing by every puzzle. So like, at first I was like, talk to everybody because that's just a gaming convention you want to do. But in this game, you don't want to talk to that wizard unless you want a hint because he's not going to tell you he's not going to give you a hint. He's going to tell you how to solve the puzzle directly.
Yeah.
Every time. So I've like more than once just not even thinking about, oh crap. Well, none of the puzzles have been that hard, but once it starts, so I've gotten far enough in the game, like I'm at the beach level, which I think is it's chapter 7, I think. Now you're actually like leaving the book, going into the 3D world more, and you're like shaking the book and you're like sliding it around, and there's just a lot more mechanics that have been added. So I would say it's gotten a little more fun. I still don't think it's a great game, but I think I want to see it through just because
it's not very long, I guess.
It's really pretty. Yeah,
it's not very long, but it's not fun to play all the way through. I guess is what
it's really not that fun.
What it kind of sounds like. I mean, even some of our listeners said that, where it was like it's short, but at the end you're like, this game is too long, even though it's not that long.
I figure, I've got it on the PlayStation. I might as well just play it.
Sure,
and,
yeah.
It's more of an experience, and
I would have done that if they would have let me. It was PS5 only, jerks. I tried to download it, but it wasn't available for PS4, which is shitty. Because it was like lowest level or free game or whatever, and they did not let me have it because I didn't have the P5. So whatever.
Well, speaking of the P5, the last big thing I did was I paid the last. I think it was only like $12 or whatever to just get up to that premium level. So I am actually at the premium level now.
For the end of the year. Does it go through the end of the year since there's not much?
It goes through the end of my subscription.
Oh, I figured it'd go through the end because there's not much left of the year. So it'd be like, because that's what I did I did it for premium for like a month, and there wasn't much of the month left, and they're like, oh, you can get premium for $4, and I was like, okay, so. But I thought, because you were doing it yearly, so I thought it'd be like, here, $12 for the next 3 weeks or whatever, and you'll have it.
With the premium, you can stream games, and I tried that with the Time Splitters games. Just Time Splitters 2, because I'd already played a little bit of Future Perfect, but it was running fine. It was playable through streaming, so I thought that was pretty cool that I didn't have to like download it and everything. But
I think it's like 500 megabytes or something like that.
Right,
I don't think it's very big. I mean, maybe it's bigger. I don't know. I downloaded all of them, and it didn't take very long.
And then one of the things with the premium, you also get certain extended demos. I don't know. It's kind of dumb that you can't everyone just doesn't have access to the demos, but there's a Black Myth Wukong 2-hour demo that I played through. I beat like 2 bosses, I think, and I really like it. It's fun. It's a fun game. I probably will eventually try to get it like the full game.
Does it play okay on the PS5? Like I heard it was. Well, I guess maybe at the beginning it's less janky or whatever. But I mean,
nothing seemed janky from what I've played.
You probably need more stuff or more bigger environments or whatever.
It's kind of cool since it's like a Chinese game and it's about like a Chinese folktale. It's just got, I don't know, it's just got a different feel to it, like aesthetically. And it is based off the story, pretty much directly the Journey to the West. So
it's Journey to the West, which
literally
everything is based on. Star Wars is
literally
based on
Journey
to the West.
Right.
So is One Piece. But it's
you're
not just
literally
Chinese. Everything is based on Journey to the West.
Right. Yes. but you're literally the monkey man from that story in this game, and you're born out of a giant stone egg at the beginning, and that's how the game starts: is you exploding out of a stone egg. So That's how it starts, and then you're just going around fighting bosses. And it's gotten to the point where a lot of the like grunts are just really, really easy. I wouldn't say it's like a Dark Souls game. Like, it was getting compared a lot to being like a Souls-like, but to me, it feels more like just a straight-up action adventure. Some of the enemies are pretty hard, and you do have to kind of do that, the dodge and invincibility frames and all that crap does apply to battle. So I get why people would say it was like it there, but it's also like Monster Hunter in that regard. You're fighting a lot of really big enemies that move really quick, and you just have to get all your dodges and you also parry in this game.
Parry.
And there's different stuff you can unlock as you go, where you have more combos available, or finishing moves and to like end off combos and stuff like that. So that's kind of how the gameplay works in this. As far as I could tell, I don't even think you get different weapons. I think like you always have the same weapon, which once again I think it's that stick that's in Journey to the West that like changes sizes. That's the same, like that pipe that stretches out in Gomon. I think it's based on that
Mystical
too.
Ninja. Yeah, you get the updates where it's like it's pretty much the same as like the whip from Castlevania. Where you get the things in the level and it'll make it bigger.
But it's based off of the weapon in that story, which was basically a stick that could extend out and retract. It's a cool game. Yeah, I want to play it. Maybe it'll be on Switch too. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
but the character design is just not like anything I've seen before. Not to say it's just because it's a Chinese game. I mean, whatever. It's just like a fully new IP, and they really did a great job making it look really nice, and it's super picturesque. Like the environments are just really, really pretty, and you can literally like meditate and just look at the vista if you feel like it. So they sort of give you that option too, and the enemies are spread out enough that you can kind of just run away from everybody too if you want until you get to the bosses. But it's a cool game. I think that it would be something I would have played all the way if there wasn't like a million other things that I wanted to play.
I'm sure it'll be on sale at some point. You can always get it on the cheap, I'm sure. That 2-hour demo thing, that was an original PlayStation Plus thing going all the way back to PS3.
Yeah.
Like when PlayStation Plus first launched, you got like 2-hour demos of all the games that were on there. That was actually the first time I played Mass Effect, is I played a 2-hour demo of it on PlayStation 3 through PlayStation Plus, like the very beginning of that. So that used to be, entry level. And it was weird. You only got you basically downloaded the game and you played it for a certain amount of hours, and then it would stop you. And then you had to buy it. It's very much like, like the extended demos we'd have for like Dragon Quest 3 or Ys 8 or Ys 10 or whatever, so except for
I must have
you could
played
do it
for
for a
like
lot
exactly,
of stuff.
I must have played for exactly the time, because when I tried turning it on tonight just to play a little bit, I thought, well, I might have like 10 minutes left. I couldn't remember. And then when I turned it on, I had 0 minutes left. So it let me boot up the game and go to where I was loading it up, and it said, you can't play this. You have to download it. So I can't play it anymore, sadly. But it was nice while it lasted.
Does it have a link to take you to the PlayStation Plus store?
Yeah,
or the PlayStation
there.
store. Doesn't have to be Plus, so you can have that. Well, that's good for you.
Yeah.
Did you get a chance to play the Tetris 99 Maximus?
Oh yeah. I played that too, and it was because of your message.
I dropped it on because I forgot about it too. I forgot that it existed, and the only reason I remembered was I saw that somebody else was playing it on the Switch. And I was like,
I did it on
yeah,
Monday.
I'm supposed to do that.
I did it on Monday when there's not a whole lot of time left. And
So you did, yeah.
The best place I got was 22nd.
Yeah, I didn't do that great. I think I maybe got 20th, but it was around there. There was one game that I did that was okay, and I think it was like the first or second one that I did.
I wanted to get to the top 10 because I wanted to see what the music was, because it does two of the different Tetris themes. It's like kind of one of the stupider ones.
I like the top 50 one much better than the one that you start with. I don't really like the one that you start with.
I don't either.
But it makes
In fact, I don't like the color scheme either. I think it's kind of a shit theme, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was fun. I didn't really.
It's the red, white, and blue theme, so it's like from like level 8 or whatever in Tetris for NES. And
I never really played the NES game, and it's out on Switch now, like on Nintendo Switch Online. There's a Game Boy Color one on there too now.
I want to try that out.
Which I never played. It feels. I mean, it feels a lot like the original one. Like you can't like save any spaces, or you can't do hard drop or anything like that. But it just looks nicer. Like it's very much like, it's like all the other Tetris games. It just looks better, and the colors change. But I never played the NES one really. I think the only one I played was the Tengen one, because a friend of mine had that one of Tetris.
Yeah, the NES one's the one I played the most.
So
the Game Boy one as well.
Yeah. The Game Boy one was the one I played the most. So I don't really know that one that well. So I was like, oh, I'll fuck around with it on NES. But yeah, I don't know the different colors and how it changes or whatever for different levels. So I'll fuck around with it at some point. I just earlier before we started, I played a little bit of the Game Boy one, and yeah, I mean it looks cool, like the Game Boy Color one. Hopefully,
does it have hard drop?
No, it has no hard drop, and it has no save stuff. So it plays pretty much exactly the same as any of the other Tetris games. It just looks nicer, I guess. Like the colors or whatever they're.
There must have been some reason why they made another.
They look brighter
Tetris game on the Game Boy because it's.
I mean, I think there's other modes. The only thing I played was just the regular marathon mode. So, but I think there is other stuff that isn't just that. So,
what I wish they would re-release, of course,
Tetris DS.
Yes, Tetris DS.
That one's really good. Well, I was gonna say that if they ever add DS to Nintendo Switch Online, I mean they gotta release that game. That game is really cool.
It's got a lot of online features too. So I don't know if they would be able to.
Well, I mean,
fully.
I mean, you could do it with your friends. Like all the other NSO stuff. But I mean, a lot of it was so like dependent on the dual screen that I don't know how well it would work, because
there was a lot of cool like
yeah
mini games and like plays on Tetris on top of, and then like having the little animated like Nintendo graphics going on was pretty cool.
Yeah, because there was like there was like a backwards Tetris, or there was like a push one where you go like where you're pushing it into the middle, like in between the screens, and there was like the Metroid one that was like a circle, right? Like I remember there was a bunch of different cool ones that you only saw on that.
It had a really robust online mode, at least for the time.
Yeah, I liked that game a lot, and I played it. I played a lot of it, and I would love to see it.
I wish I still
released at some point. I still have it. I think. I mean, if I sold it, then sad, but I don't think I did. I think I still have it somewhere. But yeah, Tetris 99 Maximus. Glad you got the theme. Yeah, it wasn't. Like I said, I don't know that much about the NES one, but I can play it now because it's on the Nintendo Switch Online. So hooray! I got a couple codes from Untold Tales. Like I said at the top of the.
Cool!
At the top of the show, I got the W.A.N.D. project or W.A.N.D. project, which is interesting. I recorded I did like an hour of it and put it up on YouTube.
That's funny because
you can find
that's
it on
literally
there.
the name of our like local news station.
It's the W.A.N.D. It's the W.A.N.D. project.
Well, not W.A.N.D. project, but W.A.N.D. like.
Oh, okay. It sounds like a radio station. I mean, that's where
I did. Like what?
I said it sounds like a radio station, like W.A.R.T. radio.
Oh, right.
I just did that.
WKRP in Cincinnati.
Yeah, I just did that because a lot of radio stations have W in it, and I think it's fun to say W, whatever, like that's kind of what I was going for.
www.art.com.
And I wanted it to want it to be silly, like, like W.A.R.T., like whatever. But a lot of them say like KWX, or you hear it on a lot of things. So, but yeah, W.A.N.D. project. It's basically you get a talking wand, and it feels like it's basically like Vampire Survivors, but it's different, like that sort of thing. It's like Vampire Survivors in the way where you don't directly attack people, you just move, and attacks happen, like as you're moving through the game. But it's not like the same to where you have to last a certain amount, or you can upgrade your weapons, but the way it works is much different. There's like a grid. There's like a grid that you use to upgrade, and you'll like buy different pieces, and you have to kind of create like this path where one has to connect to another, and they might go different ways, and you have to try to fit as many in as you can, and you'll get like points as you defeat the aliens that you use to like put these different pieces in the grid. And after you get killed, there's like quests that you can do, and you get points for that, and you can use those to upgrade your wands. There's different wands that you can unlock or you can upgrade to make like the regular attack stronger, and you can also upgrade your grids as well and make them bigger so you can add more stuff to it. So there's a lot more to it, and the idea is you just like you have waves that'll like go for like a minute, and you have to like last through the wave. And then after that wave, you get points to upgrade your grid and all that. And then you get another wave, and there's 10 waves for every level. And the last wave, of course, is a boss that you have to fight, which I got to. and I could not figure out how to do damage on the boss at all. So
That sounds a bit like a tower defense.
So I died. I mean, all you're defending is yourself. Like, there's no structure that's getting attacked.
I guess so. I thought you were like preparing, like you were building up between waves.
Well, I mean, you're building up your own defenses for yourself, I guess, if you're the tower that's moving. But it's you're trying to upgrade yourself as much as you can, and you can add like healing abilities, and like it'll start off with you just like say the first wand is you just throwing fire attacks at people. But you can add like fire tornadoes, or you can add like traps that happen under you, will explode when the people go past the path that you went, and there's there's different stuff like that. Or
are the enemies like big hordes like in Vampire Survivors?
I mean, as you go through the different levels, there's more of them, and you have a slide ability too, which is kind of cool. You have like a dodge slide thing where you can slide through anything in the level. So it's kind of like you're out, and you can only do it like it has to recharge after you do it. So you can't do it all. You can't do it all the time. But if you think you're going to get fucked over, and you have like a life meter, and there's different characters you can unlock, and your characters will have different abilities, and depending on how you do your grid or whatever, you can like up your hit points and that sort of thing. So there's a lot more thinking to it, I guess, than Vampire Survivors had like the upgrades, and this one just seems a little bit more complicated with the grid and all that. I'm not saying it's better, because I do like Vampire Survivors better, but I think it'd be a fun editing game. It's kind of a mindless thing, and it was fun to fuck around with it. And like I said, Untold Tales threw us a code for it, so thanks for that.
Thank you.
But the other code that I talked about last week that was under embargo, but it should be up as of right now. I mean, it's going to be up on the 12th, which is like 30 minutes from now, and I don't think anybody will hear this before that. But it looks like Chernoblyte, but actually the way you pronounce it in the game is Chernobylyte. Is the way they say it in the game.
Chernoblyte?
Like Chernobylyte.
Chernobylyte.
So like Chernobyl. So
Chernobylyte.
Yeah, that's the way they say it. Well, it's all in Russian. The game is. I mean, I played it in Russian with subtitles because that's what the the default setting is. But you can play it in English if you want. But I was just like, let's go for what the original thing is. But yeah, you're basically in Chernobyl. And it's supposed to be like after the radiation and all that stuff. And basically, you had a fiance, and she disappears, and you worked at a factory, and you're like on the run, and you're trying to fight back against the factory, but your maybe dead fiance keeps talking to you, and there's the first I recorded the first hour of it on YouTube, which I was going to put up, but there's some pretty haunting stuff at the very beginning, like with a lot of jump scares, like a lot of like lightning crashes, and then zombies are after you all of a sudden, and It's like a first person horror RPG, I think is the way it describes itself. If you read the description of it, it basically kind of says that it's their own attempt at putting like a Fallout type game on Switch. Because I guess it was on other systems, and they ported it to Switch, and I think it looks pretty good. For the most part. And there's a portal gun in there, which I thought was funny. You can build a portal gun that actually makes portals, but it's different than Portal, of course. It's basically. The portal gun is like a way for you to go from one area to another. It's not like where you put one place and another one and you pass through. It's just kind of like an escape.
It's like the hero's medallion.
Yeah, it's basically like an escape item, like what you would use for, it's like Zoom or Escape or whatever. It basically
Skype,
because you do different like missions where you go into any enemy territory. And it'll be like, collect this, or do this, or kill this guy, or whatever, recruit new people. And once you do it, you can use your portal gun, and it'll take you back to your base. And you basically collect stuff, and you can build a laboratory, and you can build new weapons and stuff like that. There's a lot of crafting and whatnot in it, and I think it's pretty interesting from what I've played of it so far. And I think it's like $29.99 or something like that, full price. And yeah, it's out there, releasing as of Thursday, so. Give it a look. I think it looks pretty cool. I mean, I've been enjoying it from what I played of it. I'm hoping to play more of it. I just gave about an hour, but I like the first hour of it, and it's definitely got some jumpy, scary stuff in there, because I definitely was like, whoa,
Is it doing anything special stylistically, or is it just kind of trying to look as nice as it can? Like, is it like look like it's on the PlayStation 1, or you know what I mean? Like, is there something going on?
No, I mean, it's not. I mean, it's like a port of a. I mean, I think it's a port of a PS4 or 5 game on Switch. So maybe it's a little downgraded from that, but I think it has a style to it. Like, I don't think it's trying to look like a realistic game or anything like that. It definitely has like, it has an art style to it. Like, it doesn't look like it's trying to look overly realistic or anything like that. Like, it has, it has tones. It's like a little green and black, and like is kind of supposed to look darker. I guess maybe it's supposed to look like everything's radiated. And like the first time you use your portal gun, you go to this other world that's supposed to be safe, and there's this monster that shows up that can also like go through portals that chases you. So it's kind of got a little bit of that I don't know, like the scary demons from Doom, like that sort of thing.
Uh-huh.
But not as like Twitch, not as like Twitch shooter, but I liked what I played of it. I like what I played of it so far. But I definitely want to check out more of it. And I met this, and there's weird stuff. Like I said, there's a portal gun in there. I met this weird dude that was like, I was like, oh, maybe this guy will be my ally because he just want to kill me. And he's like, I'll just give you loot boxes. And I'm like, what? Why are you giving me loot boxes? Like, where it's like, he's like, it's like a box that you open, and I call it a loot box. And I'm like, all right, dude. And he gives you a box for free, and it has random stuff in it. And I was like, why is that in here?
He's trying to keep it alive in the afterworld.
I guess. I mean, he's kind of like a creepy, creepy weird dude that you'd run into. That's like, oh, let me give you a loot box. But yeah, I played that. But like I was saying, Falcom Heaven, I was just bouncing back and forth between Tokyo Xanadu EX and Ys 10 Nordics, and they're both fun to play. I played it like before we had like the 2-week break or whatever, and I just realized that the ocean is basically the overworld of every Ys game. Like, it's the same thing, except now you're in a boat and not a person walking around, which isn't a bad thing. It just kind of clicked to me. I was like, oh no, this is like the overworld of the town from 9, or this is the island that you're on from 8, except now it's just water and you're on a boat. It's like the same. It kind of works the same way, where you go and find your side quests, and it's on the map, and you go find them and you do your thing, and or you find an island and and then you fight like different creatures there. That's like the same way that 9 was, where except you'd find like a building and you go inside of it and fight stuff in there, and you just walk through the town, but it looks a lot better than 9 did. So there's that. But I like it. It's the characters are still a lot of fun and quirky and all that shit. And I found all the DLC stuff on Tokyo Xanadu. I didn't realize because a lot of times if you get these if you get like these re-release versions of games, especially the Falcom games, there'll be like a whole bunch of extra shit on there. Like I remember the first time I played Ys 8, like there's all these different costumes and these little like creatures that you can put on your shoulders for whatever reason, and they look like little chipmunks. I forget what they were called. They're like in every Falcom game. And I found those, and there was just like a whole bunch of them. And there's all these like extra items and shit, and it was kind of buried in the menu, and you had to go through and you had to activate every single one. You had to click A on everything, and it's like, you got this, you got this, you got this, and it's just a whole bunch of costumes and shit that I guess should just be available. But I think the idea is like, in case you don't want all the extra stuff, you can just not have it. Like if you just want to play the game regularly, I think Persona did that too. Like if you play Persona 4 or 5 on Switch, there's like extra DLC stuff, but you have to like activate it. So if you want to not get all of these bonuses, you can just not activate it, and then you won't have them, in case you don't want. Because it does kind of make the first however many hours of the game a little bit easier, because they give you all this extra shit. So that's why it's not automatically given to you or whatever. But yeah, I found all this shit, and of course found swimsuits for everybody, and all these other dumb outfits, and those Pickards, that's what they're called. The little chipmunk guys are called Pickards.
Jean-Luc Picard?
You can put them on your shoulder, sure. I mean, they don't look like him, but they look like chipmunks. But yeah, you can put those Pickards.
Maybe when he's in the holodeck.
These Pickards on your shoulders and be like, hey, look at these. And do all that stuff. And yeah, you can give yourself bunny ears and cat ears and 3D glasses and all this other dumb shit. But it's,
what about a tail?
But it's fun. Yeah, you can give
hell yeah
tails too. Of course, I did that with. Well, the cat ears has a cat tail also, and it's basically any of the animal ones have, like the bunny one has a bunny tail and whatever.
Tell me more.
It's silly. Those games are silly, but they're fun. But East 10 is fun too as well. It's yeah, and I finally realized that because you have to like go into the boat to find
Yeah.
side quests, and I finally realized that it'll actually tell you in the main screen whether there's a side quest on the boat or not. Like it'll show us a little
to help
icon.
you skip, like, randomly going in there. or
Which is
whatever.
great because I was just randomly going in there all the time because I thought I would miss something, and I'd just be like, I just did something. Let's go in the boat again, and then I was like, I was just moving around the water, and I was like, oh, there's a little icon up there that tells me that there's something to do in the boat. I was like, oh, that's great because it's really annoying for me to just keep checking the boat and see what's happening in there because that's what I was doing over and over again. So whatever.
I do want to get to East 10 at some point because I was really enjoying it.
It'll go on sale too, I'm sure. I mean, Falcom games go on sale a lot. Like I got Xanadu on sale, and I know like Ease 8 has been like $6 or $7 before.
I can play 8 and 9 on the.
Oh yeah, and
it's
those are on
included.
extra, right?
Yep.
They're on extra or premium or
Yep.
whatever. And Mortal Kombat 1 is on there now too. So on,
It is?
on premium, yeah. Well, 11 was on extra because I did download it, but I already had it on Switch, but I never got around to playing it on PlayStation. But when I had the premium for like 2 months, I downloaded a bunch of fighting games that were free on there. Well, through premium, and I was like, oh, let's check this out. But speaking of fighting games, because of my love of Ghostface from Mortal Kombat 1, I was just thinking about all the other, all the extra Mortal Kombat characters that, like the crossover guys that I hadn't played with, and I was wrong last week. I know you said Spawn, and Spawn actually is in Mortal Kombat. I guess I never really realized that, and I even have him. Like
Spawn.
Spawn was, yeah. Well, I mean, I just remember Spawn being in Soul Calibur, obviously, because that was because we had Necrid in there, which was like Spawn. I mean, it was another McFarlane creation.
You should never doubt.
Never doubt your Spawn knowledge.
I know a lot about Spawn, and I know a lot about Mortal Kombat.
Well, I know your dad was into Spawn. I mean,
I
you
even
have
know the creator of Spawn, Todd McFarlane.
yeah, you have HBO Max. You could or Max, whatever you want to call it. You could watch the original Spawn cartoon, which is actually really good. The first season was great.
There's Malabogi in it, in the clown.
Of course.
Okay, good.
There's cartoon masturbation. There's a lot of nudity. It's great.
I like it.
It's a good show. No, I really like that a lot. I bought it as a VHS tape from Suncoast Videos when I was a teenager, and I would watch the whole thing in its entirety as a movie, not as a show. And it's like 2 hours or something like that. But it's much better than the John Leguizamo action movie, the live action movie that came out. It's much truer to the comic, and it looks really good too. Like the animation's great. Like looks really nice. Like that first season is awesome. And there's some real creepy voice because there's like this pedophile guy in there, like the ice cream man or whatever, and his voice is terrifying. It has that that breathy like that sort of it's creepy. It kind of reminds me of some of the voices from Killer 7 before I ever played Killer 7. But yeah, that's been a show. But I was like, I want to play all these other Mortal Kombat secret dudes. And I was like, I already have Mortal Kombat 10 for PS4. I bought it when it was new, when I just bought a PS4. And I knew there was all these extra guys on there. And I'm like, I wonder how much it is to just get the DLC characters. And it turns out that the game and the DLC characters was $4. So I'm like, whatever. I'll just buy it again. Because it's $4 with everything on there. And Mortal Kombat 10 had a bunch of cool ones in there. It had Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and Jason's in there too from Friday the 13th. You can play Alien from Aliens, all
Xenomorph.
Those. Yeah, the Xenomorph is in there. Looks really cool. You can play as the Predator also, so you could do Alien versus Predator in the game. Like that was really cool. So there was a lot of cool like horror stuff in there, and I always wanted to. I fucked around with those a little bit. Actually, one of the first times I met Kevin Fair was at this convention I went to that was mostly tabletop stuff, so there wasn't a whole lot of stuff to do. So I was kind of bored. But Kevin had games set up, so I remember playing Mario Party 10 with him. Was it 10? It was whatever the Wii U one was. Or no, that was 11. I don't know. It was whichever one was the Wii U one. We played that, and we played Mario Kart, and I played Smash Brothers with some people that were there. And he had Mortal Kombat 10 set up with all the extra characters. So like I said, there wasn't really a whole lot to do, and I was there for a while. So I'm like, I'm just gonna play every game there is. So I would just go. I went through the arcade with Jason and with Leatherface, and just like fucked around with all the extra characters in there. And that was the most I ever played with them. And I wanted, and they all, in Mortal Kombat 10, they all have different versions too. So like there's one character, but they all have like 4 or 5 different move sets that you can play as. So there's like, so they all have like, so there's more characters than just with the one. So you can pick like, oh, I'll be like Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2 or from 3 or what, there's all the different, they look different depending on what movie, and they all have different move sets. So they do different things. Like sometimes he'll throw a chainsaw, sometimes he won't. Like, there's, and that's for all the characters. So there's a lot of stuff to explore in there. So I didn't really, I basically just downloaded it and played it on my phone a little bit, but I fucked around with the Leatherface. I didn't really get a chance to play the game all the way. I just thought it was really cool that it was like $4.50 for the whole game and all the extra shit. So I was like, oh yeah, sure, I get that. That's cheap. It's cheap, and I don't think it got posted yet. But I did my top 5. I did my top 5 for Super GG Radio. So I'm not gonna say everything that's on there, but I was pretty proud of the way that I did it. And Alex liked it too. He thought it was real creative, and I think I'll try to work it into our top 10 too. But I was like, I wanted to do a unique way of doing top 5s, and I was like, well, what are the games that you just want to talk about? So I was like, so instead of doing a top 5, I did a top 5 number ones. So I basically did 5 of my favorite games, and I just, said like, here's are the games that are number 1 for this reason, and I made a top 5 number ones. So it's fun. So
it's like number ones because
they're all number ones.
Meet certain criteria to be a number 1.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's like, what are the games you want to talk about? Why are they great? Let's say that they're all the number 1 in this particular category. So instead of having 1 through 5, it's 5 ones. And I'll spoil one thing. I put my controller in there too as best new fighting game accessory of 2024. So there you go.
Well, here we gotta talk about the lever list some more.
I made sure to put the Hot 42 G16 in there. So, and I took pictures, and I got pictures of it and everything. Anyway, it's cool.
You sound like such a kaiju.
It hasn't.
A kaiju.
I'm a kaiju. I will eat all. I will
You're
eat
a
everyone.
kaiju.
I'm eating a whole city right now. You're such a kaiju. You're so giant.
You're such a samurai.
Were you trying to say like otaku or something?
Otaku is what I meant. Or weeaboo.
He can read a whole paragraph of me talking about how great the controllers. But yeah, no, it's and maybe I don't know, maybe he's saving it for later. I just want to double check to see it's not out there yet, but I'll repost it to the.
So it's like a written article.
Yeah, it's words and stuff. It's just me writing paragraphs about games that I like. I do one every year.
Kind of like an adventure game.
I do one every year. You're always welcome to do one if you want to. So I was looking for. I know like people who've been on our show do them as well. Like the one actor show? I saw that one of them did.
Backstage.
Dylan and Chris, yeah, they always do one, and what's his face? Brian did one also. It's all people that I know from other podcasts. They write out their stuff. But yeah, that's good for me. Why don't we take a break and talk about whatever's left here? But anyway, we're back from the break. What do we got for news?
News. Don't snooze or you miss the news.
Probably not a whole lot, but we got a couple games that are out now. The new Mighty Morphin Power Rangers game, Rita's Rewind, is out. That's like a beat 'em up that people like, I guess. That's out now. Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver 1 and 2 Remaster came out on Tuesday, which, I wanted to play it, but also I have a lot of games, and also I'm, trying to make it through Christmas for gifts and all that shit, so who knows when I'll get it. I want to play that Thing remaster also, but like I said, lots of games to play. But that's happening. The Game Awards are happening tomorrow. I didn't vote for any of them. Did you?
I didn't vote either. No. I know it's going to win.
Yeah. Well, what?
Balatro is going to win Game of the Year or whatever.
I'd like to see that win, but I don't think it will. I think
Metaphor Refantasio will win something.
I thought it was going to be fucking Elden Ring DLC just because they made such a big deal of putting it on there.
It'll win something, but I don't think it'll be. I don't think they will, though.
Why would you go out of their way to put it on there? I don't think it deserves it, but
I don't either. It's great. It's really good. It's basically another full game, but you have to pay for it. $30 or whatever it was. So
yeah, but
it's really good.
It is the 10-year anniversary of the Keeley Awards, which is pretty wild.
That is wild. I didn't realize
it's
been
on for
around
10
that
years.
long.
Our show is almost 10 years old also. I think I said that last week, but as for next year, will have been 10 years.
I think I'm like everybody else who doesn't give a shit about the Masturbatory Awards and more about like whatever the new promos are they're going to drop. You want to see like this is like the E3.
The only thing I care about is the commercials, and it's like all commercials, but it's like 5 hours
It's like
long.
the E3 of the fall, yeah.
I don't know if I don't know if I want to sit through it for 5 hours. I thought about just not watching it at all. And then it's going to
I usually don't.
A bunch of shit. Yeah. I have watched
usually
it
don't
for
watch it at all.
Many years. I watch it every year, and then I wish that I didn't at the end. So it's because it's going to be the same thing where it's like we gave out 5 awards during the commercials, and here's more commercials. And
I guess one of the things that stands out for me about the Game Awards was the year where they had the big, before Elden Ring came out, they had the big like pot
the walking table or whatever,
and it was just like so stupid. And I just remember like making so much fun of that, and it's hilarious how like a couple years later,
I love that game.
That's like the best character of the game. Alexander is so cool. Like that talking pot is like the coolest character of the whole game. So there you go. It was actually a pretty relevant thing. I just didn't know it at the time. So now I have my eyes peeled. Like something that looks ridiculous, I might actually like. I gotta temper my expectations a little differently.
I would like to see. Monster Hunter get most anticipated game. Next year because it's actually going to come out. GTA 6 is not.
What I played
going
of
to
it
come out next year.
What I played of it was fine. I didn't really. I did want to play more, and I think I said that, but like it wasn't like I'm chomping at the bit for this because it seems so cool. Like
I don't know. A lot of people like it, but I
liked it. I just don't. It wasn't like I don't know. There's other games I've played that grabbed me more quickly, and this was more like relearning Monster Hunter again, and that's what a lot of it was. And then by the time I had it figured out, there wasn't anything else to do. I had done everything, but it was just a demo.
I just didn't want GTA 6 to get it because it's been a year since they dropped the trailer, which I still haven't seen, and there's been nothing else after that. So
GTA 6 is more like a joke now, and I think
I'm just saying it's not. I don't think it's coming out next year. I really don't. I would put money on it. It's not coming out next year. Just like Dragon Quest 12 is not coming out next year. There's no.
We do have it in our notes. It's been 1 year since the Grand Theft 6.
Oh, is it on here?
Yeah, it's in our notes, and Rockstar or an ex Rockstar dev was like, basically Rockstar is like, they'll just withhold the trailer because whenever they release a new trailer, it's just going to go viral. It's going to be the most viewed piece of media for that period of time, and they know it, so they're just kind of like resting on their laurels. Like the hype for GTA 6 is something you don't even have to promote. It's just there. They don't have to worry about it.
Well, maybe they'll drop a trailer during the Game Awards.
They probably will,
just to cement their winning of most anticipated game of next year. That it won't come out next year.
It won't. It'll be a 2026 release. I would almost bet money. But I don't like to bet money because
I mean, is it even supposed to be next year? Or is it just like most anticipated game? Like, did they put a date to it? Maybe they don't.
They just said it was coming out in 2025.
No, I mean, but like the award, like the Game Award. Like, I don't think it doesn't say like most anticipated 2025 game.
I mean, wasn't the most
it
anticipated game Metroid Prime 4 like was?
Oh yeah, Metroid Prime 4 is on there. Well, that's supposed to come out next year. I thought it was kind of more vague, maybe, where it's like
I thought Metroid Prime 4 was like on that list like last year too.
Oh well, I mean, we had. I don't think so because we had no evidence of it. I mean, yes, it was.
We did have evidence. We saw the Splash logo in 2017 or whatever.
It was in the hearts of us Nintendo fans, but I think they had forgotten about it probably because it had been like 7 years or something since we had seen anything of it. So I don't know.
It's crazy that the Switch is going to be 8 in March. Like in 3 months, the Switch will be 8 years old, and
yep.
I don't know. It's fucking crazy. It's almost a retro console, according to Retronaut rules.
Hey, I mean, I'm with that. I mean, 10 years, that's a long time.
Especially for technology. Like, computers just move so quick, but anymore, it doesn't matter anymore. No one even pays attention anymore. I think every new thingy is just, it's like, oh, it's got a nice chip in it. It's not like revolutionarily different. It's just got better chips. I mean, the big thing about the PS5 was that it loads quicker. I still think that's probably what a lot of people would say. Like, yeah, sure, it's got all the ray tracing and stuff, but not all games have that. And it's cool, but it's not something that changes gameplay at all. Unless you really made a point to use ray tracing as your like game mechanic, which could be cool.
I mean, there's probably people who really don't like loading, though, and they're just happy to not have loading. So there's that. The category is just most anticipated. It doesn't say anything about coming out next year. So
yeah,
they could have put anything in there. It could have been
Call of Duty,
Tears of the Kingdom 2 or something, which I guess wasn't
Madden 28 or something.
Yeah, Madden 20. Yeah, Madden 26. Everybody's waiting for that. They really want to see that. But yeah, I mean, I'll probably just watch it, some of it on my phone and whatever. There'll be like one thing that's cool on there.
I guess
like that.
Last year I was still working nights, so I just kind of had it on the background. Like I had my little earbud in and I could sort of hear. So I'll probably this year, since I'm actually off, I'll probably have it on, but it'll be in the background.
Yeah, you can put it on.
Whatever else I'm doing, because I'm like going to make dinner and
while you're cooking or something.
We've got some stuff to do tomorrow as far as house projects. So I'll probably just have it on in the background and then get super excited when they announce, like, I don't know, FromSoft, something or another. I really want another.
FromSoft is making a game.
I mean, they made the mech game, whatever that was, but I want another Souls game. What everybody wants them to just fucking do already is announce the Elden Ring, or not Elden Ring, the Bloodborne remaster.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they did say they were not making an Elden Ring 2, so they need to do.
It's not in development. It doesn't mean they're not making it.
Well, it does mean they're not making it right now because it's not in development. They're not making it as of right now.
Yeah.
Will they make another one? I figured they were just tired of working with George R. Martin. They're like, fuck that guy. He never finishes books. We don't want to work with him.
I don't think he was enough,
Yeah, he probably was
a part of the game to matter.
Yeah, he didn't write. He also didn't write
Actually,
the things
Shadow
he was supposed to write for that. He's like, I'm not writing them.
Oh, really?
Not finishing it. No, I'm just saying. Just because I'm just saying he doesn't write. He don't write those books. He's probably didn't write the stuff for Elden Ring either.
I think Shadow of the Erdtree was the most George R. Martin of the Elden Ring stuff. Like it is like it's like
there's a lot
of episode of Game of Thrones in the Souls universe.
There's a lot of nudity in it. Actually, the books aren't like that.
No, there's not nudity, but there's
they just did that on the show. That's actually not George R. Martin. That's just HBO.
It's like betrayal and mass murder of characters you care about. That exists in both worlds. Game of Thrones and Elden Ring.
The Red Wedding. Speaking of the Red Wedding, that's not really like this. Dragon Quest III HD 2D, 2 million sold 2 million games.
Are you still playing it?
Worldwide. I haven't played it recently, but I'll get back to it. I mean, I got to I got the Raz mirror, and I was just ready to unveil the king as his true form, and I just didn't do that yet. But yeah, no, I'll get back to it. I needed more ease time in there. I've been doing this thing. It's dumb. I get very distracted with games, obviously, where I will play one for a while and then I'll play a different one. Because I got like Yakuza Kiwami and I played that for 30 hours, and then I stopped playing it. And then I got Dragon Quest 3 and I played that for 30 hours and I stopped playing it. And I was like, well, I should get Ease 10 up to 30 hours, then I'll stop playing that, and then I'll go back to another thing and get that up to 30 hours also, and then I'll stop playing that. And that's just how we'll do things. I'm at like 16 hours on Ease 10, so I'm getting there, getting up to 30 hours. But that seems to be what happens. I get to 30 hours, and I was like, I'll just bring them all up to 30 hours. I got 30 hours on Marvel vs. Capcom. Got there, stopped playing that one. I think I got the Paper Mario up there too. 30 hours. Stopped playing.
You just gotta get the focus. You gotta be like, I want to beat this by this day.
That's the problem. I have too many things I get distracted too easily. And then you go and you buy another Mortal Kombat game. Like you need the one you already had for $4, just because you really want to play as a Xenomorph or whatever else is in there. I really wanted to play as Leatherface, really, and Jason. Jason's cool. Unstoppable object with a giant sword that doesn't say anything. That's what I want to do. I was listening to I've been listening to this fighting game podcast called Double Tap, which is pretty good. And they were just talking about, we talked about it last week about how Mortal Kombat 1, like the rumor is that they're done. The Mortal Kombat 1 is done. Like there's supposed to be another DLC pack, but they didn't sell enough with the last one, which they kind of have the Ubisoft thing, right? Which I thought of. I don't think they said that, but their games always go on sale. Like I wanted to play Mortal Kombat 1, but I mean I wasn't going to pay like $100 to play it on Switch or whatever, especially when it looked like shit when it came out. I waited till it was $20 because I knew it would be $20, and then it was in a couple months. And I did the same thing with the DLC. The DLC came out for $40, and I'm like, I'll wait till it's on sale, and then it was $20, and I bought it for $20. So I mean, if they're upset about their sales, like they kind of have the same thing as Ubisoft, where whenever they release anything, it's every WB game is on sale. Like that fucking Harry Potter game is on sale all the time.
Oh yeah,
it's like we know, and the Mortal Kombat games are on sale all the time too. It's like we know they're going to drop. Like, sure, if you're a super fan, you can pay full price for it, but if you just wait, it's going to be $20 in no time, and it was, So. But they're saying like, oh, maybe they're going to drop Mortal Kombat 1. And, of course, what I was automatically thinking was Injustice 3, because we got Injustice 1 and 2 with the DC fighters. But I guess from what I heard from another podcast was I guess they did, they're like, we're just, they're kind of trying to do like Disney, where it's like, we're just going to stick to our main properties, not do any. And they're like their main properties are like Harry Potter and and they said specifically Mortal Kombat, not like Injustice or in other ones. So maybe they'll do another, because they did 2 Mortal Kombats next to each other instead of alternating and doing another Injustice. So whatever. But what they should do is a game called Horror Combat, and they should just take all of the guest characters from all the previous Mortal Kombat games, and just put them in a fucking game, and they're just all horror people that can fight each other. We'll have Ghostface, and put Freddy in there, but make him better. Apparently he sucked in Mortal Kombat 9. I didn't get him because he was based on the Freddy remake, not the Robert Englund one. So let's make a Robert Englund one. And these newer ones, they've actually brought they got Arnold Schwarzenegger to do Terminator. They brought in the actual people. So let's get fucking Robert Englund to come in and do the voice of Freddy Krueger and make a good
What was that
Freddy
horror
Krueger.
movie? What was that horror movie where like the guy, I don't know if he like survived his electric shoot, his like, it's like a criminal that survives the electric chair, or something happens where he converts into electricity and then he becomes. Is it Shocker?
I mean, that was a Wes Craven movie.
I remember that.
And there was
a fucking weird movie.
There was a guy that got shot. I mean, there could have been other ones too, but I mean, the fucking villains from Ghostbusters 2 were like electric ghosts that survived the electric chair. So I mean, you've seen that in a lot of different things.
Yeah, even in Ernest Goes to Jail, he survives the electric chair, and then he gets superpowers.
Oh yeah, isn't that those other movies with Jason Statham, or what was it? What's the one where he gets like shocked and it's like his power is that he gets hit by lightning? There's like two of them. They're these really stupid action movies. Where he gets like electrocuted.
Lightning McQueen.
And it makes him extra powerful. I mean, they're really stupid movies, but apparently they're funny too. Crank 1 and 2. That's what I was trying to think of. Yeah.
Wasn't there a movie called Crank that was about? Was it called Crank that had? Maybe I'm thinking of something else.
Jason Statham in it. He gets electrocuted, but he doesn't die.
No, I'm thinking of the one. No, Jason Schwartzman was in this one, and I thought it was about meth.
Oh, I don't know. I never.
We watched it together.
Jason Schwartzman.
Yeah, it's like I think it's called Crank. Maybe it's something else, but it's like a street name for
like Blow. Are you talking about Blow?
It's not Blow. No, Blow's a different one. No, this is one where it was about meth specifically, and it was like Jason Schwartzman was in it. It was like a weird drug Indian movie back in the day when there were a bunch of those. Sometime around the time of Train Spotting and all that.
Yeah, I don't know. Spun? No.
Spun, that's it.
Was it Spun? I don't know.
It was Spun.
I never saw that one.
No, we watched it together.
Did we? Well, I don't remember it.
Yeah, we watched it on. I think it was on video, but we watched it.
Oh yeah, I do not remember seeing this movie at all. But anyway, make a horror fighting game called Horror Combat, and I'll buy it, and not wait for it to be on sale, and it'll be fun. There's all these. I guess they were saying that they were going to do a Buffy the Vampire Slayer fighter for Mortal Kombat 1 that got axed. And I was like, oh man, that would have been great. I would have loved. That would have been
great.
I would have loved to play as Buffy in there,
like doing all the cheerleader moves and stuff, like being like
just like stabbing, do some stabbing and kicking,
and doing like splits. And
I wanted to do what she does in the show and die and come back to life. So like you get killed and then you're like, oh wait, no, I'm alive still. That's what happens in the show. I think it happens twice actually. It happens in the beginning of the show and towards the end as well, where she dies and comes back to life. Because, why not?
It's a show.
Yeah. And you could maybe your fatality could be like the end of the show where you like awaken every Slayer and all of a sudden women are like powerful and they can kill people. And we can just separate it from Joss Whedon also because he sucks. But yeah, it would have been cool to see her in there anyway because she's got some cool moves in the show. But anyway, what else do we have here? What about this Switch 2 image? Did you look at any of that?
Nope.
The Satisfy grip. I mean, it's just another shadowy thing. It's like
it makes sense that
the Switch 2
third parties would have to start making peripherals ahead of time, and the same thing happened with the first Switch, and we kind of had a better idea of what it was going to be. So I mean, it's legit, but it's also just like at this point, I think anybody in their right mind assumes the Switch 2 is going to be a Switch with better graphics. It's going to just be a more powerful Switch, probably.
And better loading, also. And maybe a bigger screen. I mean, there was just like a week or two ago, like, there's a company that's like selling screen protectors and like a Switch 2 case. It's like, who's buying this? It doesn't even exist, really. But you can buy it on the internet. You can buy the case for maybe it's the right size of a Switch 2, which is not even called that. Like Nintendo
it's
never even
like
said
a pre-order
that.
Kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, but apparently it's out there. You can buy it and be like, hey, I mean, maybe it'll end up being worth more later because you're the only one who has one. You're the only one who bought one. And when the Switch ends up being different,
as dumb as it is, the thing I'm most excited about, obviously, I'm most excited about it being like a higher powered system, but that instead of the weird slidey things, it's got a magnet and the controller attaches. That's so cool. I want that to be real so bad.
I just want the Joy-Cons to not suck. That's what I want to.
Yeah, have Hall effect.
Make them better. Yeah, I mean, which that was a rumor too that they were using the all Hall effects for that sort of thing. But yeah, who knows if that'll happen or not. But it should, because stop releasing those fucking shitty ones that drift or whatever. Nobody wants to do that.
I think it's funny how quick that whole thing of the free game or the game that people got to demo. Like we talked about it once, and then there's literally been no buzz on it online since then. Like
which game?
The one where you signed up for like the trial and not many people could get in.
Oh yeah, I thought that was Nintendo Music. No, it wasn't. I mean, well, supposedly it wasn't because people released stuff. But I mean, did they make that up or? Yeah,
I don't think it.
whatever.
I don't know. It was just.
yeah.
It's one of those things where like it must just not be that cool because like no one talks about it anymore.
Well, I mean, yeah, because they got distracted by
They got those
Nintendo
NDAs.
Music, which the Wave Race soundtrack is on there now. So now you can.
So they're basically adding a soundtrack a week. It seems.
They are, yeah. Now you can listen to the Mary Tyler Moore song that's on there, which is known as the stunt race song, but it sounds very much like the Mary Tyler.
You're
Moore
gonna
song.
make it after all.
It's in there, yeah. It goes da 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 da. It's in there.
Then you like throw your wetsuit up in the air.
Yeah, you throw that dolphin that you unlocked in the air, and then you can catch it and impale it on something when it lands. There's a Chained Echoes DLC happening. Does that make you excited to go back and play that game?
That's so strange, but also cool because they've been under the radar enough that they could just be like, "Oh, by the way, here's some DLC."
I did actually get a Chained Echo Steam code sent to me from one of our listeners. I have not tried it yet.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, one of them messaged me and sent me a Steam code for it. Which
Who is that?
I think it was Eric.
Oh, the truck driver.
Yeah. He's
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
He sent me Steam code. Yeah, Eric Bedenis. Sorry, Eric. I forgot your last name. But no, Eric Bedenis sent me a Steam code for that game because he thought I would like it because I like JRPGs. I do want to play it. I mean, a lot of people really like it, and I heard of it compared to Mike was comparing it to Xenogears, which is cool because that game was really cool. Another game I played over 30 hours and stopped playing. I put 50 hours in that game and stopped playing it. So
It's like me and Xenoblade 2.
that's yeah. Speaking of Xenoblade, I guess Monolith Soft is now officially 100% owned by Nintendo. I didn't know that they were not, but
I thought they were.
But now they are. Well, not, I mean, I guess on the website it says now that they're 100% owned.
So they're 100% second party.
Yeah.
/ first party.
Well, nobody can. Yeah. Well, I mean, they're doing all the hard work for all the other games, but
Yeah.
But good. I mean, don't let them slip away. They're too good of a company. Yeah, the company profile section of Monolith Soft website has been updated, and now it says that Nintendo owns 100% of the company.
Not to say that I want them to diverge from Nintendo, because I love them doing stuff for Nintendo, but seeing how well they do it, utilizing hardware so well, and like, I would love to see them make a PS5 game and just be like, okay, this is actually a PS5 game now.
Sure. Well, I mean,
because we use the hardware properly.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get. We're obviously going to see a new Xenoblade whenever the Switch successor happens. So, and we're even getting Xenoblade X again with a bunch of graphical upgrades. Still, even though it's a huge ass game.
And Trey, if you missed last episode, Trey vowed to finish the game this time when it comes out.
Oh, did I? I don't remember that, but
no, you didn't. But I was.
Well, I wanted to. I mean, I'm really curious to see what they add to it, because Xenoblade always adds a bunch of shit to their re-releases. Like they're not gonna copy paste it. Like, and then I've seen breakdowns. Like the characters do look a lot different, and there's like more dramatic lighting or whatever. I just want to. Hopefully, they make it a little bit easier to. I just make it to where you don't have to search for your fucking characters in the town, and you have to like look them up and see where they are every time. Because and that was kind of what. Because I like finally got past that part I was stuck on, but then I couldn't get to the next part because my my level with a certain character wasn't high enough, so I couldn't do the I
forgot you have to level up with your characters too.
Yeah, you have your affinity. That's your character affinity has to be in a certain level. Otherwise, you can't do the main level. So you can't just like streamline the game. I just wanted to just streamline it and just try to get through it, but you can't because. In order to do it, your characters have to be on a certain affinity level. If you're not on this certain affinity level, you can't do it. And in order to do that, you have to find the character and you have to go on a whole bunch of missions with them. But they're always scattered around the town somewhere, and you got to look up where they are and whatever time of day they're going to be in a certain place, and it's really fucking annoying. Like, I would hope they do what they did when they re-released Xenoblade, where they just put dots on the map. Like whenever you get a side quest, it's like, oh, go here, instead of being like, find the duck beast in the waterfall or whatever. And it's like, I don't know what that is. It just puts a dot there and it's like, go here, and then you go here and then you find it, instead of like having to look up what the monster is and like where it's at and what time of day it's at there. It just like points you to it, and then you just go and do it. Like, that's, hopefully they just do stuff like that.
One thing I remember about that game was just like you'd see the same character models for enemies, but they would be like bigger, and that's like
Sure. I mean, yeah, you see that on a lot of them, on some of the other ones too. But yeah, I mean, I put over 200 plus. Hopefully they kind of explain to you a little bit how to maximize your mines or whatever, so you can get more money. Because I was running out of money pretty quickly, and I couldn't afford to buy the scale level that I needed.
Oh, it was totally the mines that screwed me in that game, because I was at the final battle and I still had the first or maybe the second level of scale, because you get like the scale at 30, and then you get like new scales at 60, I think, and then there's like another level after that.
Yeah, I couldn't afford the one after that. Yeah.
I couldn't afford it either. It was like $500,000 or something. I'm like, how am I ever going to make that kind of money?
And
that's per
it's
scale.
Very
it was like not for your whole party.
It's very expensive. Yeah, especially if you. Yeah, I was like, I can't afford one, let alone like four of them.
Because I think you have a party of 3 in that game.
I thought you had 4.
Is it 4?
I thought you had 4.
Maybe
people.
it is 4.
I don't remember though. But also, you have to, if your scale gets destroyed, you have to pay like almost $1 million to get it fixed. So that's another thing that goes. So you can't just like most Xenoblade games, you can just kind of throw yourself at stuff because you don't get penalized for dying. So you can die a bunch and nothing matters. You don't lose money like you would in Dragon Quest or whatever. You just you just start back where you were. And so, which is good, because sometimes you'll run into like a level 70 boss or whatever, and you can't get away from it far enough, and you die, and you're not, you don't get penalized for it. So it's like
one shot you.
Yeah. So it's like, oh yeah, cool, that happened. But if it happens with you in the scale, then you're out like $1 million because you got to get your scales fixed, and it's like, come on. Dude.
I think that would be a quality of life improvement if they made the price to get your scale back lower. Maybe they could keep that mechanic, but make it, a tenth of the price,
or maybe just give you the option. Give you the option to just go back to your save when your scale was alive still.
That's true.
Like right before you ran into the monster that killed it or whatever, and you could just go a different way. That's kind of what the Dragon Quest game does really well. Like, is whenever you die, you can choose to go back to whatever the last autosave was, and it autosaves after every time you fight any monster or get any item. So you don't really it kind of takes away a lot of the challenge of the old Dragon Quest games, where you have to where you don't want to die because you don't want to lose half your money, because a lot of it is like saving money and buying new weapons and all that stuff. But this one, and same thing, if you die on a boss, you can just start over the boss. Like, you don't have to. It'll be like, hey, do you just want to fight again? And then you can just retry it just like that. Or you can go back to whatever your autosave was, or you go back to your manual save. There's a bunch of different options. And it autosaves like a bunch. So you could look at like all the different times that you did stuff, and just, you can really save scum on that. So they should just do something like that, where it's like, oh yeah, you fucked up. Do you want to just go back and not fuck up? I was in a dungeon where there was a whole bunch of fake, I kept getting a whole bunch of fake treasure chests, like the mimics, Yeah. And they have this ability where they can automatically kill you, and they'll try to kill everybody in your team, but most of the time it doesn't work. But sometimes it does, and it kills everybody, and they one-shot you in like a second. It's like, well, that's not fucking fair. And then you just go back and you just don't open that treasure chest, and you just go on with the level. Mm-hmm. That's what I was doing. I'd be like, all right, fuck that treasure chest. And I was trying to beat all of them. But yeah, that fucking squelch or whatever it's called, where they kill you automatically, but it only works a percentage of the time, but sometimes it works for everybody. It's so fucking annoying.
What year did Xeno come out? Was that 2015?
Yeah, Xeno is 10 years old almost. Because we talked about it in 2015. Wait, no, maybe it was
2016.
Maybe it was 2016. Because we only had a couple episodes in 2015, I think.
It must have been 2016, because it came out. I think that's the year it came out, and that was like one of the last big releases, other than like Star Fox Zero for the for the Wii U.
I was gonna say, well, I mean, I don't know, maybe
we definitely talked about Star Fox Zero. I think we were around when that happened.
No, Xenoblade Chronicles X is a 2015 game because I thought we did do a best of 2015 episode.
Uh-huh.
So that one was out, and I think Tokyo Mirage Sessions came out too. And I think that you said that Color Splash was your favorite or something because you played it the most or whatever.
Oh boy!
Even though that Color Splash episode's still one of our highest downloaded ones. I don't know. We must have said something fun way back then.
It was more fun than Origami King.
Yeah, I mean, I never played Origami King, but I don't want to. It just looks like a pain in the ass, really.
I don't remember it at all. That's how good it was.
It looks. I mean, you said like the roll mechanic where you switch the shit around is annoying, and it looks annoying.
Yep.
And you don't get experience points for it. It's like, what's the point of this that you have to? You get money, I guess, that you can buy stats, but I don't know if there's a thing that you have to do a bunch of times in a game, it should be rewarding. Like there should be a point to it, right? It shouldn't just be something you do and then you're just like, oh yeah, here's maybe some cash. It's like, and you have to do it a lot, I'm sure. It's like, I don't know, make it have meaning in some way. So I don't know. But yeah, is there anything else you want to talk about in here? I'm kind of just rambling, but
what about this Pokemon claymation thing that might happen? It's the people who made Wallace and Gromit.
Yeah, I mean, wasn't there a Pokemon claymation thing on Netflix? I mean, it's not Wallace and Gromit, but I thought they had one. I thought like the last
they did like some shorts, I think, with claymation.
I thought the last one was stop motion, but I never watched any of them. I know this is not stop motion or Pokemon at all, but have you watched Creature Commandos yet on Max? You might be able to get Shauna to watch it because the whole soundtrack is done by Gorgo Bordello, which is pretty cool.
What's it on?
It's on Max, on HBO Max.
Oh, we have that. Yeah,
it's
a creature comfort.
Creature Commandos. It's a DC show. It's a comic book show, but it's written by James Gunn from Troma. He wrote it, and all the soundtrack is all Gogo Bordello songs. Maybe because they're in a different country, but it's pretty cool. Like,
are they in Ukraine?
I don't. Well, I thought they were. I don't know where exactly they're at, but one of the main characters is the Bride of Frankenstein because they have like monster themed characters in there.
So they're in Romania, probably.
And she goes back to the laboratory where she was birthed, so they were by there. But yeah, they play Start Wearing Purple and like 10 other Gogo Bordello songs. It's pretty much every song that's on the show is a Gogo Bordello song. Uh-huh. And they even had a sequence where there is like animated Gogo Bordello in the show. So I mean, they're not hiding it. Like they animated them because they did this like a montage of like the Frankenstein's monster chasing the Bride of Frankenstein, and it shows like how they've chased each other for years, and it's playing a Gogo Bordello song, and it shows them chasing each other at a Gogo Bordello concert, and they're in the background. So like they put them in there, but it's cool. I really enjoyed it. It's there's like 2 episodes out. The third one's coming out on Thursday, the same day that Dawn to Dawn comes out, which we watched all those.
Yeah, I've watched them all. That show just keeps getting better.
It does. I mean, it's great, but I got to tell you, it reminds me a lot of Persona. It's very much like Persona. It's the same thing. Kids that go to high school have to deal with demons coming into their lives. They get special abilities, and from other demons. Like it's very much Persona.
They get embarrassed in front of everybody else when they like.
Well, they got
snapback.
They got their funny, they got their funny Japanese stuff in there. I mean, that's how Tokyo Xanadu is too.
There was like I think it was not this past episode, but the episode before where the grandma was like talking to the main characters, like, do this impression of whoever this guy is, and I don't know who he was, some Japanese celebrity, and she was doing this impression, and everybody in the show thought it was funny, but I didn't know what the impression was.
I thought she was trying to do an impression of Turbo Granny or of her grandma, and that's why.
No, it was a character.
Oh, are you talking about the last one?
No, it was a character from. It was just like a Japanese like actor guy.
Because she keeps like in the first couple episodes where she keeps talking about like how she has the crush on this Ken whatever guy, and that ends up being his name. That's like a big Japanese actor too.
Oh, it is.
She's talking about. I didn't know that. Which I didn't know that. I just saw somebody did a video.
I know they always like swoon when he says something about being awkward, like because that's part of this.
Well, because she calls him Okarun, or because because she doesn't want to call him his name because he has the same name as that like super hunky actor that she has a crush on. Which I didn't know what that meant, but I saw like a breakdown video showing that it was a hunky actor from some other Japanese drama
Makes
stuff.
sense. I kind of gathered that
Yeah.
from the writing, but I didn't know if it was just within the universe or in real life.
Yeah, but yeah, we're all caught up on it. We watched all this, but yeah,
Best theme song of the year, as far as anime I've heard.
we skipped the theme song because it's
Really? No, I always watch it.
It's too stroby.
That makes sense.
It's the strobiness of it, so we skip it.
I never skip it because it's so good, but also I'm not sensitive to that stuff. I just like the song and like the animation's really good for the intro.
Yeah, I mean the animation's great through the whole thing. So
It's like Cowboy Bebop. Like I want to
your-
watch it
I'll take
every
your,
time.
word for that. Probably not as good as the Peacemaker opening, but a few things are. I don't know if that was another James Gunn thing that was on Max. It was really good. But yeah, I mean, I think we're good. We just ramble for whatever.
We always can.
40
we
minutes.
are. We're here to touch base with our fans.
That's
and,
what we normally do.
talk
Ramble.
about games. That's what we do.
Yep. We'll see about what happens next week with
The Game Awards.
We'll see what happens with the Game Awards. I'm waiting on my Nintendo stats. That's what I want. Last year
I
they
want my
came out.
Spotify Rewound for Nintendo.
Yeah, I mean, last year they came out. I looked it up. I posted them on the 13th of December last year. So maybe that'll be the same day this year. Because I think the only wrap that's happened is Xbox. I don't think PlayStation has done one either. So yeah.
I feel like
would to know.
Spotify does theirs earlier every year too. Like Spotify did theirs in like November this year.
I was trying to get I was trying to get my Amazon one to work, but maybe they haven't done that yet either. I mean, I can look at like a playlist that's like here's the best of stuff that you listen to, but they don't do it. They'll just show you like here's the songs you listen to, and I was like, I don't think I listened to that one that much. But I mean, I don't know, whatever. Doesn't really matter. But but yeah, I looked at it. I was like, But anyway, yeah, I think that's good. I think that's good for this episode. Thanks everybody for listening to NintenDomain Podcast episode 450. Turn your oven up to that temperature all the time for everything you're making, no matter what it is.
Everything, including boiled eggs.
All of it. Put it all on 450 forever. And yeah, you can find us on other places on youtube.com/NintenDomain Podcast and twitch.tv/NintenDomain Podcast. We did play the OG Fortnite. Joe and I did. And it's hard. OG Fortnite is hard because there's no shit. There's no like bells and whistles. I forgot how like completely empty it is. So it's really difficult because there's like, there's no cars, there's no special weapons, like there's no like secret islands, there's no bosses, there's no bots, like all
No
this,
zip cords.
like all this other shit that they added. I think there might be zip cords still, but you can still do the run and slide thing. But yeah, we were just getting our asses kicked on OG, but it's also kind of boring too.
Was it build? Were they full build mode?
No, we did no build. You can still do no build OG. You can pick that, but it's like, but also it's like, I think the world is made for build because we found some stuff we couldn't get to because it was too high. I was like, I think that they just kept the map the same for both versions, and you just can't get whatever's up there because there's no build shit. So it's
There's no
like,
build?
But they still got the samurai demon stuff on there, and that was more fun. Where you can find little like these little characters that you can sacrifice for different weapons, and you can get giant samurai swords that make you run fast, and you can kill people real quick with them. That was a lot more fun. But yeah, OG's like, yeah, this is hard. But apparently they're keeping it around. Maybe they'll go through the later seasons, and you can go back to, I don't know, whatever like season 2 was or whatnot. Or maybe they just want to keep it there just for the people who are like, man, all you losers now, you're just playing new Fortnite. You don't know
It's
what
like
it was
Warcraft
like.
Classic mode.
Yeah, it's like you don't know what it was like when it was just an island and all we had to do was find shit. And there were no like planes and no like cars and no nothing. We just had to fucking hide. And I don't even think there's like, or at least we didn't find them. I don't know if there's even scoped weapons on the OG one. I mean, was there snipers and
There's
stuff?
gotta
Do
be.
you remember?
There's
At least we didn't find them.
because it was like Player Unknown Battlegrounds was what really started the whole battle royale trend, and Fortnite was
Yeah,
kind
PUBG.
of copying off a lot of that stuff. So yeah, it was. There were already sniper weapons. There was definitely
Maybe
that stuff when
maybe they're
Fortnite rolled
just
around.
maybe they're just much harder to find because I feel like they're
Mhm.
pretty easy in the newer stuff. Like I get them. Like you know, if you want to play it well, you got to get you get your machine gun, you get your scoped weapon, and you get your shotgun, and that's what you try to get the best of, so you can take people out from a distance. And I've been using scoped weapons a lot.
I actually bought
You
PUBG
can
when
do a
it
lot.
came out. Like I have it on Steam still. Like I bought it when it came out before Fortnite, and that was the first battle royale I played.
I played it on my phone. I played the iPhone version because that was the only
Yeah.
version I could play. But it was free. I was like, whatever, I'll
Mhm.
try it because people really liked it. Yeah, before I'd even heard of Fortnite, like there's this whole back when I was listening to, the U.S. Gamer podcast with Kat Maley before. Axel Bloodcat existed, but they had their own like U.S. Gamer podcast as well. And I remember one of them was trying to push for PUBG to get like Game of the Year because it was an early access, but it was completely finished and it had all this shit and it was so popular. And I don't think it ever really was as popular when it was finally fully released.
It wasn't.
It was all the early
Because
access.
Fortnite was around by then, and a lot of
Yeah.
other stuff that people were playing.
Yeah, so it kind of took all that away. So
In fact, I think they made it free to play
yeah,
as well. But I actually paid money for it, and I was no good at it. But I watched a lot of YouTube videos of people playing it because that was really popular too.
but yeah, also also check out our Patreon, patreon.com/NintenDomain podcast. There's an episode up there now of us talking about games that we want to play in the terrible world that we live in now. About worlds we want to escape to. It's pretty good. And you can listen to the Wave Race song that we talk about there, which is also in there. In the WRT radio and whatever else. You can check that out. And speaking of Patreon, you gotta find yourself some cheap games to put on the list. I'll say
I've started working on my list.
okay. I'll say get it done by next week. Otherwise, we'll randomly pick them for you. I just want to have some time to to get through. I don't want to have only.
I would like an hour with each game. Like I think.
Oh yeah,
that's
I just didn't want to have to marathon them in like a day because that's going to be
Yeah.
awful. I just want like a week to play them, but also play good things. So I'm not like sad about.
Well,
just
you
playing
also
shitty
like
games.
if you marathon them, you're not going to get as good of an impression. So you're gonna
That's true. Yeah, I wanted to
want
like
to spend a little time with these shitty games.
I wanted to spread it out, and I wanted to stream some of it too. So check that out. But yeah, we've been your hosts. I'm Trey Johnson,
I'm Jerry Mikowski.
I'm John Knitter.
and thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.
See ya.
Anyway, oh yeah, I have to talk about things.
Yeah, you do.
I have to have a topic. I never figure out what the topic.